You wake up, and the first thing you see is how your dog is sleeping, on their back, all four paws in the air, completely spread out in the middle of the bed, while you're hanging off the edge. Or maybe they're sleeping right in front of the door, like they've been standing guard all night. Or maybe every single night, in the exact same position, nose tucked into their tail, curled up like a donut. Most people think it's completely random. My dog was tired and just crashed wherever they found a spot. But the truth is a lot more interesting than that. Every position your dog sleeps in is actually a message. Behavioral neurology tells us that each one is a coded signal. And you're seeing these signals every single night, but most of us never learn how to read them. Today I'm going to walk you through the psychology behind your dog's sleeping positions. And some of what you're about to hear is genuinely going to surprise you. Before we get into it, let's clear something up. We look at our dog's sleeping positions and think they're cute. We post them on social media. Half the time they make us laugh. But veterinary behavior researchers at Colorado State University spent years studying dog sleep behavior and came to one clear conclusion. Your dog's sleeping position is a direct reflection of how they're feeling in that moment, how much they trust you, and how they're doing physically. Dogs can't control themselves when they sleep. It's an unconscious state. Their sleeping positions are one of the most honest windows into their inner world. Some positions can even reveal whether your dog is stressed. And there's one position coming up that most people think is just funny, but it's actually one of the biggest signs of trust a dog can show their owner. Let's go through them one by one. The first sleeping position, the oldest reflex in dogs, the curled ball. Your dog pulls their body inward. It usually happens within a few seconds. Their nose comes almost close enough to touch their tail. Their legs tuck underneath them. Their body forms a ring that closes around itself. To most people, this just looks adorable. But in dog behavior, this position runs a lot deeper than that. So what is your dog's body actually saying here? This is exactly what behavioral scientists have been researching for years. This position is one of the oldest sleeping behaviors dogs inherited from their wild ancestors. Wolves, foxes, and wild dogs sleep this way in nature. Because this position gives them a survival advantage in the wild, there are two key reasons behind it. The first is protecting the body's vulnerable areas. In the wild, this is a critical advantage. Sensitive areas like the stomach, neck, and throat are folded inward. The second is conserving body heat. A curled body loses less warmth. But according to behavior researchers, the really interesting part comes after this. In some cases, this position can signal that your dog isn't fully relaxed. Research describes it as a defensive sleeping position. The body stays partially on standby. Muscles are kept ready to jump up quickly if something happens. Picture your own dog for a second. If they constantly sleep in this position, their body might be giving you a clue. Something in the home environment could be affecting them. A new sound, a new smell, a shift in routine, or the simplest explanation, they might just be cold. But if they recently switched to this position, if yesterday they were stretched out on the couch, and today you find them curled up in a corner, pay attention to that sudden change. Research shows that sudden shifts in sleeping position can sometimes be an early sign of physical discomfort. Leg pain, stomach issues, joint problems, these show up in the position long before other symptoms appear. That's why watching for sudden changes matters. The second sleeping position, a dog's most vulnerable state. On their back, all four paws in the air. Most people can't help but laugh when they see this one. Body completely open, zero protection. And that's exactly why this position says so much. The belly is one of the most vulnerable areas on a dog's body because most of their vital organs are located there. In the wild, this area is something animals instinctively protect. Animals living in the wild rarely use this position. In this position, an animal is slower to respond to environmental threats. When your dog sleeps this way, it means one thing: they feel the environment around them is completely safe. It's also directly connected to the trust they have in you. Their brain no longer needs to stay on constant alert. Attachment research from Eötvös Loránd University in Budapest identified this position not just as a sign of physical comfort, but as an indicator of maximum psychological security. Your dog is telling you openly, "You're here, I don't need anything else." There's also a connection between this position and temperature. Dogs' sweat glands are largely located in their paws. This position helps them release body heat, especially in warm weather. But here's a small detail worth remembering. If your dog never sleeps in this position, that doesn't mean they have a cold or anxious personality. Some dogs reach this level of trust slowly. Trust builds over time, and the relationship you have with your dog shapes that process. Most people just watch their dog's behavior, but some people actually learn to understand it. If you're someone who wants to truly hear what your dog is saying, subscribing means you're taking that journey with us. The third sleeping position, stretched out on their side, completely relaxed. Your dog is fully stretched out on the floor or the bed, legs loose, body open but not on their back. They're lying on their side and have settled into a deep sleep. This position often gets overlooked, but researchers say it points to something specific. This is typically the position where dogs enter REM sleep. Research by veterinary neurologist Dr. Adrian Morrison from the University of Pennsylvania showed that dogs in this position are actively processing what they learned during the day and organizing their emotional memories. That afternoon you spent together, a new command they picked up, a run through the park. They're working through all of it right here. And dogs sleeping in this position often twitch. Their paws tremble, their eyes move, sometimes they make sounds. Try not to wake them up in that moment. Those twitches are a sign that your dog is mentally processing something. Their brain is running at full capacity, and when that process is complete, your dog's ability to learn, their emotional balance, and the bond they have with you all get stronger. The fourth sleeping position, the Sphinx. In this position, your dog usually looks half asleep. Eyes slightly open, ears tracking even the smallest sound. This position is less about resting and more about listening. Behavior experts describe it as a ready standby posture. Your dog wants to rest, but can't fully let go of their surroundings. If they're in the same room as you, they're keeping an eye on you. If they're facing the door, they're tracking a sound from outside. If they're constantly going in and out of this position, your dog's stress level is elevated. But here's the interesting part. A study published in the Journal of Veterinary Behavior found that the large majority of dogs who preferred sleeping in this position had a high protective drive. These dogs can't put down their responsibilities even while sleeping. If they're sleeping in front of the door while you're home, they're keeping you under their protection. If a dog is watching over you even while they sleep, that is a sign of deep loyalty. The fifth sleeping position, physical contact. You might be thinking, this isn't really a separate position, but behavioral researchers study it as its own independent category. Your dog is sleeping with their back pressed right against you, or they've nestled between your legs, or just one paw is touching you. This contact is very often a deliberate choice. In 2024, researchers at the University of Jyväskylä ran an interesting experiment, measuring the heart rate variability of 30 dog owner pairs during sleep. The results were striking. In pairs sleeping in physical contact, the same pattern observed between owners and their dogs appeared in their autonomic nervous systems as well. When the owner was calm, the dog calmed down. When the dog was calm, the owner's cortisol levels dropped. Two different species, two separate nervous systems, spending the night regulating each other. And this synchronization only appeared in pairs who were emotionally bonded. When they ran the same test with a stranger and a dog, nothing happened. So your dog pressing against you while they sleep isn't just a habit, it's a biological need, and it goes both ways. Now I want to ask you the question nobody asks. What happens if your dog's sleeping position suddenly changes one day? Maybe they'd been sleeping the same way for years, and then all of a sudden it shifted. Where they used to stretch out on their back, now they're curling up. Or where they used to lean against you, now they're keeping their distance. These kinds of changes shouldn't always be ignored. Veterinary researchers say that shifts in sleeping position can be an early sign of three things in dogs. The first is environmental stress. Something changed in the home. A sound, a smell, a person, a routine. The second is physical pain, joint pain, stomach discomfort. These change the position, often long before other symptoms show up. The third, and the one that gets missed the most, cognitive dysfunction in older dogs, the canine equivalent of dementia. It affects an estimated 35% of dogs over 8 years old, and most of the time, the first sign is a change in sleep behavior. Your dog can't tell you something with words, but they speak through their behavior. Once you learn to understand what they're doing, you start to realize just how much they've been saying all along. Most people look at how their dog sleeps and just think it's cute, but some people realize it's a message. If you've watched this far, chances are you're one of those people. So the next time your dog is sleeping, take a real look at them. Because now you know how to read what they're telling you. And I'm genuinely curious, what position does your dog sleep in most? Share it with me in the comments.